At this point, I blame the community manager. Maybe Godot is at fault, but I am not really sure. The reality is that being a community manager, I blame the community manager. The community manager of Godot pretty much went on a power trip. It made a political comment. I personally not necessarily against or agree with it, but as a community manager, I think that you represent whatever you work for. And something like the Godot engine, it should stay neutral because I mean there are just as many developers on one side as there are on others, and other countries and all kinds of people making games. So trying to use something as like a lot that serves so many different people to just push your stuff, even when in reality it's not your your platform. Godot is not yours. Godot, of course, is an open source project. It was created by a single guy uh, originally, but it's an open source project in which the source code is available on a on an open license. So really, this is much different than what a proprietary or a company will should do. Is and I'm aware of that, but that is an even more problematic thing because you're pretty much completely completely dependent on your community. And when your community has so many different people, you should not be taking sides on anything. And of course, the thing that really is more the problem than anything is, of course, the more than giving your opinion. Of course, in a position like that, you should not. If we look at any person that have such a position, you are the representative of anything of a brand, of a politician, or a company, of course. It's not. You cannot just use the name of the company to push your thing. You have to, in a certain way, you don't have an opinion. If you want that position, you have to leave your opinion on the side, and you're only going to move on whatever the opinion of the brand is. More importantly, you know, you have to value the opinion of your community, especially when you are uh, something like this that is community driven, as community driven as Godot. Because of course, if you're a company that brings services to other companies, the only thing you should care about is if that other company is happy, not really if people are happy with the service you're giving. If the other company, but this is different. This is about the community. The community is what moves this particular type of software. And You know, when you just start censoring your community, I mean, it doesn't matter what it was you started. The moment you censor something, that's when you fail. That's when you went on the power trip. It could have been about anything. You could have talked about cookies. And you could simply say that you're that I don't know, the macadamia cookies are the best cookies in the world. And that's great, okay. But the moment someone else tells you no, those are the worst, or they tell you nah, I prefer chocolate chip or whatever. I mean, if you start banning them, come on. And it could be as a joke, of course. Maybe you ban your boss when he says that he prefers salty cookies or whatever. But hey, if you start just censoring your community, yes, of course you're going to lose it. Of course you're going to lose. You already lost from the first time that you ban anyone, that you seriously ban anyone just because you didn't agree. That's it. That's it. So now you committed the sin of mistreating the community, but you're also misrepresenting the brand you represent. And depending, of course, who knows? I mean, if you go to a, I don't know, just about any working for anyone and start saying the crazy stuff, of course, just about any company. If you were to start saying things like Hitler did nothing wrong or Hail Hitler, of course, you are going to get in trouble because you represent that company. Of course, you're going to get in trouble. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, maybe some of the funnier ones. I don't know. Maybe that guy from what was it called? Mythic, the almond god, almond god, almond god, right? Like, I bet he will either laugh. Actually, no, he will be pissed off. He will probably say, no, no, no. Not hail Hitler. Hail me. So you're still getting fired. Like, it doesn't matter. That position is a position in which it's not about your opinion, but the opinion of the company. You cannot pass your opinion as the opinion of the company. You have to left your opinion behind. Of course, maybe in a conversation, when dealing with the community, you might say, during the conversation, for some reason, you might say your opinion, but it's very important that you establish that is your opinion and that you're doing it only because that happened and it asked for it. So, like, well, I think all Nabisco's cookies are the best cookie, but since you're asking me, I will say that my personal favorite, yeah, okay, it's the cameo, but hey, all Nabisco cookies are the best cookies in the, and it doesn't matter which cookie you buy. If it's a Nabisco cookie, you're going to have a great. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Like, now I'm assuming that what happened here is that the person, the community manager, went on a power trip. And because he went on a power trip, of course, it moved it moved its agenda without permission. It pushed that comment, that original comment, and then when it saw I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain it was without permission. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Godot and the leadership, the current leadership, at least, of the project, because Godot is more like a project than a company or anything like that. Is again an open source project. So the current people in charge of the project. I don't think this comes from them. I think this comes from that particular person as a community manager. And I give it that benefit of the doubt because I don't want to think that the leadership of Godot is starting to participate in political stuff. That is a big mistake. But I'm going to just, at least at this point, because I don't know, that idea is only an assumption. So I'm going to put it to the side. What is not an assumption and it's a reality is that this person absolutely and without any doubt went on a power trip and is damaging Godot. He's doing damage. Now, I don't know the guy, of course. I think that his name was Walineski. No, that's not the guy that created the code. That's not the community manager. That's like the leader of the Godot project and the original maker of Godot. He seems like a very nice guy. And with nice guy, I mean, he reminds me a little bit of, that guy from No Man's Sky. I forgot his name, but people like that sometimes are too easy to push around, and they don't like, you know, doing what is necessary, or being the bad guy or treating other people bad. And I can see his comment when regarding what has happened, that he tried to take the most amicable, the most neutral position. But yeah, no, at this point, you need to put the gloves on, man. Or delegate the decision to someone who can wield the gun and, bring bring the dog behind the barn, take the shot. But yeah, at this point, yeah, that's the only thing you can do. The community manager needs to go because the damage was too far. And that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Now Godot, of course, is an open source project. I know people are very mad and they are acting like they will act for a company. And in a certain way, of course, there's the donation part of it. It will be very hard to continue without donation, but at the end of the day, when you're pushing something like that, you're not pushing on. You're not pushing a million company, like $1 million, multi-million dollar. You're pushing Concord. You're not pushing Sony. You're not pushing. You're pushing that because open source project honestly is what we need more than anything. That of course doesn't excuse that the community manager needs to go and it needs to be fired. There needs to be an apology and it needs to be put down. For the longest time, actually, I think Godot doesn't have any forks as far as I know. Which is quite impressive given how popular Godot, given how popular Godot is, it, pretty much any other open source project at this point will have all kinds of forks. Like even some projects that weren't open source ended up having forks. Well, not really forks, but pretty much forks. Yeah, I think a good example of what I mean, it will be something like OpenOffice in which it was proprietary, but it was community driven. It was community driven. And as soon as that company changed, I think it was bought or something, and the politics changed. And pretty much of OpenOffice ended up being forking out into other things like LibreOffice and stuff like that. At least until it actually became an OpenOffice. At least until it became open. So I don't know if something. I don't think something like this should happen. Like I say, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think it's a. It's definitely a big deal for the community manager. That community manager, this has to be a life lesson for for that person. The rest, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. It's not like I'm going to stop making games for Godot anytime soon or jumping for another. That's that's just an overreaction. Nowadays, it's. I will still say if things like this keep happening and there is no movement within the leadership to change things, one have to wonder